This is Bronze and Modern Gods. I'm John America.
And I'm Richard.
If you are not following us on Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods, why not? Give us a like, subscribe, leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Guess what we're talking about today, Richard?
We're talking about Captain America?
We're talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the keys to look out for. We're also going to have a special guest, Ali from Elite Comics 11, telling us all about the virtual Comic-Con that is at Con happening this weekend.
Right.
We're going to be a part of it. We hope you will too. We've got our underrated books of the week, viewer mail, so much this episode. No time to waste. Let's get right into it with our hot book of the week. Richard, take it away.
Yeah, our hot book of the week is Captain America number 323. The first John Walker as Super Patriot.
It is. This is, okay, spoilers ahoy. If you have not watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, skip this. Look in the description. You're going to see a time code that takes you right past all this section, but you're going to have to skip the main topic as well because it really depends on you watching the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But Captain America 323, important book. When it comes to this series, it is the first appearance of John Walker as the new Captain America. Well, actually, he's Super Patriot here. It takes him a little bit to become Captain America. And we see a glimpse of him at the end of episode 1, right down to that chin.
Oh, that chin. Yeah.
It was great. Cap 323 has exploded a bit. The 90-day GPA on this is $494, but we had a sale just a few days ago for $770. So this book is your typical hockey stick when it comes to things like this. We're going to be covering more Falcon and the Winter Soldier keys later. But first, it's time for viewer mail.
You've got mail.
All right. Our first viewer mail is from Rick Darris, who just stumbled upon your channel. You two just click, and have good chemistry. Something that comes naturally sometimes. Well, thank you. Very knowledgeable. Also, to your point about Spider-Man, the same argument, as strange as it sounds, could have been had in the 1960s about the Human Torch. For a lot of the older generation at the time, the Human Torch from the Timely days was the Human Torch, not Johnny Storm. Now, hardly anyone knows about the Golden Age Human Torch, which is kind of true, except for us old fogies. The same can be said about a lot of the DC Golden Age characters as well. So the debate continues. Lots of healthy debate from last week's episode.
Yeah, I totally agree with this statement. And, the people don't realize, a lot of people who collect comics, that Johnny Storm was not the first Human Torch. We've had Golden Age versions of Green Lantern and the Flash, and so these characters have passed the torch from the Golden Age to the Silver Age, and the Silver Age is now passing it to a new generation of characters. The next one is from Fury of Pandas. Love it. What do you think about the difference between the first and second print run of Ultimate Fallout 4? The first has Miles' face obscured, while the second, Miles is in full view. I feel like the second print may outpace the first print, as when you have this displayed on your wall in the CGC case, what would you rather look at? That's a very, very, very valid point.
That is a point I've never heard anybody make before, and it's actually a good one.
Yeah, if Miles is your guy, the second print is definitely something that would appeal to you more than the first print. The second print also has a smaller print run than the first print, so there's definitely some things in its favor. People like first prints of things, so I always see the first print in this case having precedence, but we've already seen the second print commanding up to $1,500 for a 9.8 for the second print versus $3,000, $3,100 for the first print. So it's doing pretty well on its own.
Excellent. Well, it's time for you to look in the description and skip ahead if you have not watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because our main topic today is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, keys to look out for. We have both watched episode 1. What did you think, Richard?
I loved it. I thought it was really good. Just the way that Sam just fills that hero role, I think is just incredible. Yeah, I thought it was great. I like Red Wing. I thought that was awesome. This little touches that really, really benefit for people who know Falcon from the comics. So yeah, loved it.
I only have one minor, tiny little quibble, and that is everybody calling him Sam. Even the military, who he should really outrun. It was just a little too familiar. They should have called him, Mr. Wilson or Falcon or something. Hey, Sam, like he's everybody's bro. It's like, no, there's a little chain of command here. I think this should have been had, but that's just the military guy in me.
Yeah, I hear you. That did perk my ears up when the guy, I forget his name, in the movie, yes, called him Sam. It's like, well, that's pretty familiar for someone I don't know how well he knows.
If that's my biggest complaint, I think we're going to be in for a really good ride. So
yeah, and the stuff that they did with the Winter Soldier, I thought was a good setup for the next episode. So I'm really looking forward to this coming Friday.
Yeah, they really threw me a left curve because at first I thought the older guy that he was friends with was one of Sergeant Fury's Howling Commandos, perhaps, but then he would have to be really old and barely alive. So that threw me for a really good turn there. Let's talk about some important keys that just based on this first episode and the trailer that people really should be aware of. And the first one is Captain America 168. Now, this is a book that is tied to my childhood because it was also done as the Power Records book and record, where you came with a 45 single that you played and you could read along while people acted out the comic.
Power Records presents Captain America and the Falcon in And a Phoenix Shall Arise. Captain America and the Falcon on night patrol.
Cap! Hey, Cap! What's with you, partner? You're moping around like you just lost your last friend. But you definitely ain't. Not while I'm around.
What? You'll have to run that by again, Sam. I'm a bit slow on the uptake this evening. Some nights it just gets worse than others, that's all. Some nights it just gets worse.
It's also the first appearance of Helmut Zemo, the new Baron Zemo from Thunderbolts, etc. He eventually becomes Baron Zemo. It doesn't happen here, but there's his first appearance. A 9.6 to this book just sold for over $1,400. That's up from $221 last year.
Now, does that include the record?
No, it does not include the record. I love that Power Records book, though. So that is a nice return on investment. If you spent $221 on that book last year, and you sold it for $1,400, good for you.
Absolutely. Next is Captain America 312, the first appearance of Flag Smasher and Ultimatum. If you watch the show, Flag Smasher is the leader of the terrorist organization that they're tracking down during the show. This book had a last sale of a 9.6 for $250, and that's up from $70 from last year. So I hope you guys are seeing a trend here with these keys.
Flag Smasher looked cool on the TV show with his long hair and his little plastic mask and everything. But I miss this guy. I miss this goofy costume.
Oh, God, that costume is just so...
it's superhero-y.
Yeah, it's superhero-y. Spandex and all that. I'm kind of glad they ditched the spandex for the MCU.
I know. Well, another important book is this bad boy, Captain America 354, the first appearance of John Walker as the U.S. agent. This cover is so hard in high grade. Look at it. It is completely black all around. It shows the slightest imperfection. So as a result, 9.6s are now selling for over $500. That's up from them selling at $115 last year. So again, you're quintupling your money. Good for you. I would not be surprised because of the rarity in 9.8 for this book if that eventually became a $1,000 book in 9.8. It wouldn't shock me at all. It is a major key. Also be on the lookout for the Avengers West Coast issue that came out that same month where he joined Avengers West Coast. Those are real close, like Spider-Man 252 and Marvel Team Up 149, the first appearance of Spidey's black costume. They came out the same time, so I wouldn't be surprised if people picked up on that Avengers West Coast issue as well. And taking a moment here to pause and give a super shout out to the Beyond to the awesome Mark Gruenwald, who wrote that whole storyline with John Walker, created that character, created Flag Smasher, wrote over 100 issues of Captain America in the 80s and early 90s, has just a spectacular run, the best Captain America run I've ever read, and it's a long overdue kudos to him.
Yeah, I could definitely see this book capping 1,000, given the way the market is going. If the Falcon and the Winter Soldier as a show is popular and we get a second season, definitely this is going to be $1,000 book. Next, we've got Captain America Volume 2, number 6 from 2005. This is the first full Winter Soldier. This is a cover I really like. I like the layouts of the cover.
Which one?
The regular cover, actually. The regular cover just sold at 9.8 for $761. The variant cover just sold at a 9.8 for $1,005.
Winter Soldier, Bucky, whatever you want to call him, he's not going away. He's here for the long haul. So I can't believe a book from 2005 is selling for $1,000. But then you have to remind me about
Miles Morales.
Right, exactly. Well, I guess it shouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprises me anymore. Up next, Captain America, the 2013 series, number 25. This is the first appearance of Sam Wilson as Captain America. Sam, we all know him as Sam. That's his name. The regular cover just sold in 9.8 for $398. So people are focusing in on this as a key. It sold for $84 last year at the same time. So it's shot up as well. Lots of variants on this cover. So be on the lookout for many of those as well.
Next, we've got All New Captain America number 1, the first solo Sam Wilson as Cap. We've got Raws for this, about $15. There's an Alex Ross variant that's going for about $70.
So if you want a cheaper key, and these all are out of your reach, that's the one, I think. All New Captain America number 1. It's a really cool cover with Sam front and center as the new Cap. I think that's where they were going on the TV show, so I would not be surprised to see it end with some variation of that costume and Sam in place as the new Cap.
Yeah, that's my take on it too.
Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Okay.
All right, let's welcome everybody back from the spoiler zone. If you jumped off and you're coming back, we are part of something very special this weekend. It is called AtCon. And it's happening only on Instagram. Now, if you've been following these live sales and everything that's happening here, Elite Comics has been part in the center, the nucleus of all this movement. And we have the man behind the myth, Ali, joining us. And here he is right now, the man himself from Elite_Comics 11 on Instagram. It's Ali. What's going on, Ali?
Hey, welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Well, it's going well. We're all amped up for this coming weekend because you have AtCon happening. So tell us a little bit about AtCon. This is the third one, right?
This is the third one. So it's Elite Comics 11's virtual convention. This will be number 3. We snuck in 2 last year, just with the crazy year we had last year. But we've adapted to the virtual world, and so AtCon is a virtual comic convention, and this third one, it truly is going to be the biggest live stream comic sales event ever. We have live vendors streaming sales from across the country and even into Canada. 4 days. It kicks off March 25th, goes through the 28th. Every day is jam packed with live sales and special guests. So, I'm excited. We have unveiled a lot of it. You could go to elitecomics11.com right now and see the full schedule. You guys are a part of it. You guys are doing a panel. There's going to be panels. We're excited. A lot of work has gone into it. A lot of work still left to do, but I'm excited to see it all unfold.
Yeah, I mean, you've answered some of my questions about where it's going to be. It's going to be on Elite_Comics 11. That's where we're going to be able to watch AtCon. Anything you knew that you really want to focus on? You want to spotlight something that you haven't done before?
Yeah. So, well, first I should. So there's a lot of you guys people have been seeing a lot of the vendors. They're coming. The best of the best are part of the show. So they're familiar. The cream of the crop, as it were. No, but there's a lot that I have to kind of use seniority a bit to limit it. Maybe, who knows? Maybe the next one will be 5 days instead. But on the special guest front, so we have Randall Park. We have Steve Levine. So
wait, I gotta stop you on Randall Park.
Yeah, Randall Park.
If for people who don't know who Randall Park is, who is that?
So he's an actor, comedian. If you're watching WandaVision, you know a lot about him. Special Agent Wu. I mean, it's going to be incredible. For him to even be part of this event, a lot of people are excited, including myself. So
the people that listen to this podcast have heard me mention Jimmy Woo at least once per podcast for how long, Richard? Last 7 months?
Yes.
You have Jimmy Woo.
Yes. Either Yellow Claw or Jimmy Woo has come out of your mouth for the last few months. Yeah, absolutely. And I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of him in the MCU. So this is going to be it's a great score for you, Ali, because, people are going to be wanting to ask him some questions.
Well, it's great it's great for the community to have, these special guests really make the transition and come over, because we're an Instagram-based platform. So just have this kind of support is awesome. So Randall will be there. We have Steve Levine, who actually, he did the lettering on the original Ninja Turtles run. So he worked with Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird. He's actually going to be selling things. So he has as you would expect, he has a heck of a personal Turtles collection.
I bet.
And he's
Are you finally going to get a gobbledygook number 1?
We'll see. I don't even know what he has, but it's going to be fun because he'll actually be selling. And we got Jamie Madrox from Twisted. He's going to join. So we got a hip hop artist as well. And then the legendary Neil Adams will go back to his New York studio, and he'll be selling his original art as part of this. So, the special guests, those are, other than Neil, they're all new. One other concept that's brand new is, so people that watch Elite Comics 11's like live sales, we generally have like an elite giveaway, right? It's like a book.
Some fire giveaways too, not those little tiny giveaways. They're big time.
Right. So normally if you spend $250, you get a ticket to win one of these big grails for free. And, they usually run about a month. So you collect your tickets for like a month, and then you get a shot to win a big grail for free. So for AtCon, we're doing 4 days of grails.
Wow.
So every day is going to have its own grail that people are basically earning spots to win. So, it's only 1 day per grail. So all the buyers from each day are going to know what they're earning spots towards. And that's going to be fun because these are not small books. These are grails. They're big books. I'm going to sort of not reveal them all ahead of time.
Come on. At least one.
There's a Fantastic Four number 48. CGC Slab. That is one of the giveaways.
I would say that.
I'm not going to say orders or anything, but that's the scale of books we're talking.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. That brings that extra energy to the show, right? And everybody's trying to get those tickets to win that free swag. Awesome.
Definitely. So again, just so you can go to elitecomics11.com and find out a lot of information, the full schedule included. So people can start checking that out. We launched it yesterday.
I'm so excited. I'm choking on myself. So you just launched elitecomics11.com. Really cool looking site. That leads us to something, that we didn't even see the light at the end of the tunnel a few months ago. But now things, I got my first shot. Richard got his. What do you think the future is going to be here? What are you planning ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I think the future is, it's good to see things start up again. I've been hearing some news that there are going to be some versions of a lot of the physical cons that we're used to. It's good. Of course, it's good to see that. It's good to see the world, light at the end of the tunnel, like you said. But I don't think any of this virtual stuff is going away either. I mean, it's going to keep getting better and better, and it's carved out its own world. I don't want to say niche, because this is taken off incredibly. And I think for as much as we tried to replicate some of what happens at the physical conventions, I think there's room for both. Like, there's a lot of things that a physical convention can't replicate, and vice versa. So it's not all just replicating the physical show. There's a lot to the virtual component that can't be replicated in person.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of at the mercy of the dealers that show up and the books they bring. And if nobody brings an FF48 CTC slab, then you're out of luck. But on a live stream, you've got all the options and opportunities.
Right. And you don't have to wait 2 hours in line to get, to see Neil Adams or things like that,
Exactly. So it's great to see, and I'm excited to do it. And who knows? I mean, I've talked to showrunners, and maybe there's some collaborations down the road that people might that might make both platforms better, physical and virtual.
We're looking forward to doing live shows at conventions. So
yeah,
we kind of want to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I had a question. I've watched a lot of your streams. I've seen some big books go up. But what has been the most expensive book that you sold on a stream, and how did you actually handle the transaction?
It actually was it was recently. It was a Superman #1.
Wow, I did not see that.
If we're just looking at streams themselves, like live stream, yes, it was Superman #1. And that was actually part of our new series. So we do, we work with a lot of vendors, but the collector stash on Elite Comics 11 on Instagram. So that series, we feature like a really big private collector that for whatever reason is letting some of their personal collection go. And so that book came up during one of our recent collector stash episodes, and it actually sold. So that was pretty incredible to be a part of. And so far, that's the biggest book we've sold while we've been streaming.
So how many tickets did that person who bought that get? Did you just give them the monthly giveaway? Because,
it just worked out that, if I'm remembering right, I don't remember if we had an Elite giveaway active for that sale. There was a separate giveaway for that sale, so I didn't personally have to calculate the number of tickets, but it's a lot.
You see the changes on eBay, right? That they changed to the managed payment, and another changing the rules towards recording of taxes, limiting it down to 600. We've already seen a migration towards other sources, but do you think that's going to drive up the amount of sales that are going to happen on Instagram?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a cycle of, I think maybe it's a natural cycle, maybe it's not, but whatever it is, I mean, I think, companies make money and then they feel like they should make more, and then at some point maybe they push too far, and then the market adjusts and maybe they shift back. And so I mean, the more fees that are involved in every transaction, especially now with the boom going on on the virtual, it's not just Instagram. There's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's a lot of options in the marketplace. If a company it's kind of like, I guess, in Jurassic Park, how they say, life finds a way. Well, if you push too much, like, people react. I mean, people are going to adapt and find a different way to do things. Yep. So I do think that, that if, not that company in particular, but just in general, people have more options nowadays to pick up these things. So
absolutely.
So back to AdCon, we're excited to co-announce that we are part of it, and we will have a panel for AtCon. Friday, this coming Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, my time, 10 o'clock Eastern time, his time, where we're going to be joined by Bill and from Elite Comics 11, and we're going to be talking about our top 11. See what we did there?
Yeah.
Underrated Bronze Age comics. So if you want to see that, make sure you are following at elite_comics11 on Instagram. If you want more information on AtCon, who's going to be there, times, panels, special guests, everything is at elitecomics11.com. Sign up for Ali's newsletter. Pretty easy, right?
Yep. That's well said. Well said. EliteComics11.com lays it out just great. The whole schedule's up, including you guys. Thanks so much for being a part of it. I'm looking forward to your panel myself. I don't know anything yet about it, so I'm very interested to hear.
Well, people that listen to this podcast, it's going to be heavy on Quasar, Hercules. No, just kidding. We're actually going to pick some decent books that you guys should be on the lookout for before they explode like everything else is exploding right now.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
Crazy market.
Crazy.
Well, we want to thank you, Ali, for joining us. And everybody, make sure you join all the fun this weekend on Elite Comics 11.
That's right. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Thanks, Ali.
Special thanks to Ali from Elite_Comics11 on Instagram. Follow him if you are not already, and we will see you all on Friday. Richard, it's time for our underrated books of the week. What do you got?
Me? I've got, let's take underrated with a grain of salt, okay? I'm picking a X-Men book from the Chris Claremont run of the X-Men. I'm picking specifically X-Men 133. Now, everyone knows about earlier books, 129, for example, which is the first Kitty Pryde. 130, which was the first Dazzler, because that's really, really good. There's a number of key books in the range from the Claremont run. What I'm picking 133 because I think it's not getting the love that it really deserves. If this is a book that focuses on Wolverine, at the time in the story, Hellfire Club has captured all of the X-Men with the exception of Wolverine. They've got Jean Grey under the spell of the Mastermind, and she's seeing a whole different reality. And it looks like it's curtains for the X-Men. But Wolverine, who is thought to be dead, the Hellfire Club dispatches I feel sorry for these guys, this team of minions to go down into the sewers to look for his body. He's not dead. As a matter of fact, he slices and dices all of these people, with the exception of one. And he holds that guy's toes to the fire to get more information about the Hellfire Club. This is one of the first times you actually see Wolverine's healing factor. He gets shot in the stomach by one of these henchmen, and he falls over and feigns that he's dead. They come over because they're stupid, and Wolverine sticks his claws into them. So it's a very, very violent for a X-Men book, but to me it's one of those books I think is being underrated. The whole Phoenix saga, where Jean Grey has been imbibed with the Phoenix Force. We don't know if that's what it is at this point. This is the episode where things start to turn, where she goes from Phoenix to Dark Phoenix. The next issue in 133, the transformation is complete when she frees herself from the Mastermind and just goes full Dark Phoenix. So I think if you haven't read the Phoenix Saga, this is an excellent story, definitely worth your while. I think this book is underserved. And if they ever decide to do this version of the Phoenix story, where the Hellfire Club is important, and if they ever do the White Queen, then they're going to have to do some version of this. So right now, the GPA is at $775 for 9.8. So yeah, if you look at a range from like 115 through 142, the values of those books, a number of the keys in there are up of four-figure values, especially, like 129, as I mentioned earlier. This one's only $775. So, to me, it's got room to grow. There was a recent book signed by Claremont on 133 that went for $1,250. That I would have loved. I'm a big fan of Chris Claremont, and getting a signed book would be would be awesome. There are 1,855 books on the census, of which 269 are 9.8s, which is a 14% ratio of 9.8s to the census, which is fairly low for this book. So if you can trace down a 9.8 or find a good 9.8 candidate, I would hold on to it, because as we've talked about before, the MCU is going to have its Wolverine. There is no way Disney is not going to capitalize on the popularity of possibly the most popular character in Marvel Comics, Wolverine. So we'll see the X-Men. We will see the values of these kinds of books go up. I think this is a perfect opportunity to cash in on it, or to get a copy before the prices get out of control.
Do you remember what a big deal this book was, this issue? Because 132 ended with that semi-splash page of Wolverine in the sewers looking up at the reader like, oh, it's on now. Yeah. And we saw Wolverine use his claws to kill once before, I think in the Savage Land earlier in this run, but it was off panel. It was implied. This was the first. And how many times do we hear the phrase, Wolverine, sheathe your claws? This whole run. This is one time when there was no sheathing happening. These claws were out, and these guys were gutted, and it was a huge deal. Heroes don't kill. Right. And this was the gritty 80s, the beginning of the gritty 80s era. And man, people were, believe it or not, people were on both sides of the fence when this came out. Remember, people were like, heroes shouldn't kill. And Wolverine was not the super uber popular character he is now, where you just expect it. It was shocking.
It was, but I think it set the tone for Wolverine and his ability to break those boundaries of what a hero is supposed to or not supposed to do. He was going to do what was necessary, and he did. I mean, he was the one character out of the X-Men that could solve the conundrum that they were in. At the end of this issue as well, there was a cliffhanger where Cyclops ends up apparently dead. He falls over, and everyone is wondering what's going to happen. It looked like curtains, like I said, for the X-Men, and it'll all be pulled together in 134. But I think this book has so much opportunity for growth in terms of its value, just because the story is so great, and it's just in the middle, in the thick of the entire Phoenix saga.
I've heard someone say once, I can't remember who it was, but Wolverine is the best at what he does. Was it him? Maybe
he's the best at what he does. Yes, he is.
And what he does is killing. All right, my underrated book this week is Marvel Premiere number 57, the first U.S. color comic book appearance of the fourth Doctor in the Doctor Who series. Lots of Whovians out there. I'm one of them. This was my Doctor growing up in the 70s. Richards as well. Tom Baker, the actor who played the fourth Doctor, is arguably the most loved and recognizable of the Doctors, with his long flowing scarf, his jelly babies, the whole deal. Now, you may have a Miles versus Peter Parker thing happening here, where people think David Tennant is the most loved Doctor. Now, I can see that as well, but no one's going to come close to Tom Baker in my eyes. Sorry. Now, this particular comic reprinted black and white stories from the UK Marvel magazine of the same name of Doctor Who, but these were colored for the first time and drawn by Dave Gibbons of Watchmen fame, way before the Watchmen. This series, this Marvel Premiere, there were 4 issues of Doctor Who. It sold well enough for Marvel to give the Doctor his own series in the next 2 years. There are lots of people that like this book. Great Walt Simonson cover. It has a 90-day GPA average of 9.8 of $165. So for a key of this nature, it's still very affordable. Huge fan base for Doctor Who. I'm surprised this book is still underrated.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about doctors, if you are a child of the 80s, you've seen Tom Baker. But if you look at the doctors that preceded him, they were boring. It's the best. They were
very, very British.
Very British. Tom Baker allowed the character of the Doctor to just be unique, either in his mannerisms or his method of thinking and talking. you never saw a character like that before. And I think every single Doctor that has come since Tom Baker has Tom Baker to thank for the latitude that they have in playing that role.
And they have to compete with him. I mean, no matter what, everyone's always going to compare you to Tom Baker. Tom Baker had the luxury of taking the first 3 Doctors, the very serious nature of Hartnell, the goofy nature of Patrick Troughton, and the swashbuckling spy action adventurer of John Pertwee, and he kind of threw them all in a blender, and you got the Tom Baker Doctor. So there's a reason why he's the most beloved, because we love him. He's still around. He's on Facebook. He does videos for fans. He's the best. So Marvel Premiere 57. And that is going to do it for us this week, Richard. We'll see you Friday night on Instagram. Elite_Comics11 is the account to follow. We're going to be going over our top 11 most underrated Bronze Age books. So get your wallets ready and start these down. If you're not following us on Facebook and Instagram, it's at Bronze and Modern Gods. Give us a like, subscribe, write us a review on your favorite podcast platform, and we will see you next time.
Everybody stay safe.